Boys and girls, we've been learning about radial symmetry, which I've kind of compared to dividing something up like a pizza, and that in each slice there is the same thing going on. That's why we were doing the Kaleido Free the other day, so that you could get that going in your mind, that just like a pizza, if we look at an orange has radial symmetry. Even a snowflake, if you were to slice it up like a pizza, you'd see that each section is the same. This kiwi is gorgeous, and if I slice him up like a pizza, every section is going to be the same. Even in nature, when you look at a spider web, God has created spiders that they know that they need to have, to make a strong web, it has to be the same in each section as well. We've done radial symmetry in things that we've made, like stained glass windows or designed like this. And in India, I'm going to be showing you some people who use sand to make radial symmetric designs, and they even have competitions. Now today, I'm going to be giving you a grid that basically is a circle that already has the lines of symmetry lined up for you. And you're going to be cutting out pieces of paper to create your own design with radial symmetry. We're going to start by taking one piece of paper of your choice. You're going to fold it in half, then you're going to fold it again, and then you're going to fold it again. If you think about it, if you fold it, now we have 2 pieces, now we have 4 layers, now we have 8 layers. Well, we want 8 layers. That's going to work out great. And I'm going to begin by cutting a shape that's almost as big as the entire paper. We'll discuss why in a minute, but we want your first shapes to be big. And my next job is to figure out, where am I going to put them? Wherever I put them, I need to make sure that I take each of those 8 shapes and line them up in the same place on my imaginary pizza here. Now I'm using a brush to put on the glue. You're going to be using a glue stick, but I'm applying the glue here over that line because I know that that's where I want to put my pieces down. So you're going to do the same thing. It's just that you're going to do it with glue stick. Some people like to put on the shapes as they glue. I was kind of making sure that I had everything laid out correctly, that I laid out my glue first, and then I could just pick up that pile of 8 shapes and just stick it on there and get rocking and rolling. So I'm starting off with this green. Now that my glue is finished, I'm going to take each piece and put it on in the same place. I'm actually making sure that the point touches the edge of the cardboard. That's a good trick for me to make sure that I have them all the same distance from the center. So I'm finishing up here, putting all my pieces down, making sure that I have 8. Sometimes you're going to find you have 7, and before you freak out, just look on the floor or something like that. You'll probably find it. Now, I'm continuing to put on my stuff here, but I want for you to notice something in the corner. If you look right here, you will see that I used almost the entire paper, and that is something that we really, really want to make sure we do. Now, I'm adding on some more. I folded this new yellow piece of paper. Now I'm thinking of cutting out a different shape. I'm going to have some ideas for you, but notice once again that I've used that whole piece of paper. And now I'm even cutting out a little piece. That piece might come in handy later, those little tiny ones. So I'm going to go around, and now I'm going to add this in the same place all the way around. Now again, if you notice here, you'll see that the shapes that I cut are almost the whole size. Because if you start with a tiny shape and then put them all on, look at how much of your grid is showing. Whereas if you start with a larger shape and add that all the way around, then you've got a lot of color, and then you can go and put on your smaller pieces. That's what I recommend to you. So I'm just continuing to fold my pieces of paper. It could be that there's going to be what I like to call a little paper sandwich of 8, that if you need a smaller shape, you don't have to start with a brand new piece of paper. You can just use a smaller piece and or a piece that someone has already used, and then just cut a smaller piece from that. Sometimes that's nice to do as well. So I've got that now. Now I want to show you something else. I also have some circles that have been pre-cut. And if you would like to use those, the only thing to remember is that if you use them towards the center, you're probably, instead of 8, you're going to use 4. And that's okay, because it just means that there's a half a circle in each one of your pizza slices. Some kids even like taking some of the circles and cutting them in half or cutting them in quarters, which was kind of cool as well. Now I just cut a shape, and I have 8 of it, but I only want to use 4 in the middle, and that's okay. So now I'm applying them around the outside, making sure that they're symmetrical, that I have an even design going all the way around. As you start to get more and more color on your design, you may want to start looking at the spaces that still have a lot of white showing and figure out what you could add to cover that up. We really want to avoid just putting paper over paper over paper over paper. Our goal more is to be able to cover up as much of the white as possible. So as you can see here, I'm just adding on a few more details, added a little orange, added some smaller pieces. As time goes on, you can start to cut some things that are smaller. We're just always going to remember that when you're sitting down now, to remember your 8 lines, to remember to fold once, then twice, then 3 times. And your first pieces, I'd like them to be almost as big as your folded paper. Have fun.